We're back on the SportsMax Zone. Day 3 of the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar saw the biggest shock of the tournament so far after Saudi Arabia stunned one of the pre-tournament favourites, Argentina, by 2-1 in the day's first match. It was pretty early Caribbean time. It's Argentina's first defeat in an opening match at a World Cup since losing to Cameroon back in 1990 when Roger Milla, the veteran, had stunned them then. 3 other matches were contested on the day. And let's have a look at those results now. As we said, Argentina losing 2-1 to Saudi Arabia, Mexico and Poland in a 0-0 draw. Lewandowski failing to score a penalty. In Group D, Denmark and Tunisia, no goals there. And France recovering from 1-0 deficit to run past Australia by 4-1. Now, one of our football correspondents, Nick Blackman, now joins us to discuss an outstanding player in the leagues in England, Championship and League One, and also a Barbados international. Nick, welcome to the SportsMax Zone. Great to have you on.
Hi, thank you. Good evening.
Okay, we're going to start with the Argentina game, although there are other games that we'll discuss as well. And let me start here because Argentina took the lead and found themselves in trouble behind 2 early Saudi Arabia second half goals. And they weren't able to respond. Not like the French did. They were able to respond later in the day to come from behind to get a big result in the end. What went wrong for Argentina today?
Yeah, obviously they started the game very well with Lionel Messi getting the penalty early doors, and you're thinking it's going to be a routine win. They've then had 3 offside goals, or goals ruled for offside, should I say, and Saudi Arabia have come out second half, absolutely all guns blazing and put in an amazing performance and thoroughly deserved the win from the second half performance.
Yeah, well, Nick, during your career playing in England, you know, having played extensively for Reading and Sheffield United and Derby, I'm sure you'd have had some FA Cup matches where a lower tier team would have been giving you some problems. Let's say you're in a big match, an FA Cup match, you go behind against a 4th tier or 5th tier team. What does that do to the psyche of the team? I'm asking that because I want to get from you, when Argentina went behind 2-1 in this game, the mentality of these professionals, what would have been going through their mind at that point?
Yeah, most definitely. I think Argentina would have been very happy, obviously, to get the first goal. But then, as they've gone behind, as you said, it gets increasingly more difficult. You know, the opposition team, no matter what level they're playing at, they've become very good at frustrating the game and slowing the pace of the game down and really taking you out of your rhythm. And they put normally 11 players behind the ball, and it's normally almost impossible to break down. You need that little bit of magic that obviously Argentina couldn't come up with today.
Yeah, there were 6 or 7 yellow cards that the Saudi Arabians got. The Argentines got no yellow cards. Is that a reflection of Saudi Arabia approaching the game with far more intensity than the Argentines?
Yeah, from the off, they started with a very, very high line, so they've set their intent from the outset. But obviously, as the game's gone on and they're holding on to the lead, they do not want to let that go, and it's a historical victory. And the Saudi Arabian king has actually come out and announced that tomorrow is going to be a national holiday. So that shows you how important it was for those Saudi Arabian players not to take any prisoners.
Yeah. Looking at the match though, Nick, I felt that when Argentina went behind early in the second half, there was more than enough time for Argentina to get back and win the game, because there were I think 30 minutes left in the game when Argentina went behind 2-1. So having said that, I know you've already outlined how the Saudi Arabians got energy by the lead they had and, got behind the ball, and their adrenaline was a bit of a rush for them, seeing that they had the opportunity to pull the result off. But what were your thoughts when Saudi Arabia got in front in this game, having seen that there was so much time left in the game and Argentina having enough time to get back in? Do you think Argentina would have come back?
Yeah, I think you have to see the names on the team sheet and who's on the pitch playing for Argentina and the quality that they possess, and not only just the quality, the experience. So with one of the best players of all time, if not the best player of all time, in Lionel Messi. So everyone would have been looking at him, and there is a lot of pressure on his shoulders, and unfortunately he wasn't able to deliver. As said, they did have 3 goals ruled off for offside So it is very, very unfortunate. And on another day, it could have been very, very different. But today was clearly not their day.
What does this win do for Saudi Arabia now? Because they seem to have this sort of fire in them. What does this mean for the group? I know it's still a wide open group, but Saudi Arabia, the next team that they play, how are they going to play?
Well, again, I think they would get massive, massive confidence. Obviously, they beat a team with Lionel Messi and other world stars in there. They would see themselves at top of the group and Argentina bottom of the group. And anyone would have thought it would be the other way around, you know, coming this evening after the first game for themselves. So I think they're going to go in with no fear. I don't think they should have fear. And they've shown that they can mix it against the very best. It might not be as we would have expected, but as a unified group and they can all get together and make the game difficult after taking the lead, I think they should have no fear.
Yeah, Nick, has Argentina lost the favourite tag, seeing the manner in which they were defeated and the team which defeated them?
No, I don't think so personally. I think it's just it's a little bump in the road. Obviously, it's a massive bump, should I say, in the road in terms of history and World Cup defeats on the opening game. So I think it's not an issue for them as long as they bounce back and get the positive result in the next game, get the 3 points. I think normal service resume for Argentina.
Yeah, let's take a look now at Poland, Mexico. Robert Lewandowski seems to only be a star for Barcelona.
Yes, unfortunately for himself, he's missed the penalty today. Obviously, with the nation's expectations on his shoulders, he did look quite nervous when he stood over that. And if you, as you said, if he was wearing a Barcelona shirt, you would expect him to tuck that away, no problem at all.
Yeah, you know what? That result for Lewandowski and Poland, disappointing for them because they needed to get a result to respond in the group table to the Saudi Arabia a result, because you know it is expected that Argentina will rebound. So Poland not being able to get the result they wanted, nor Mexico, would have been disappointed that they didn't, get 3 points out of this fixture. Both teams, both Mexico and Poland.
Yeah, you could look at it that way, but also there's the possibility that they could be very happy with a draw with each other and both fancying their chances to play Saudi Arabia and get the 3 points when they come against Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, let's look at the France game against the Aussies now, Nick, because the Aussies took an early lead there, and for a moment, I guess the French would have been a little bit worried, because we do know the wretched history of recent European teams winning the World Cup going out in the first round. France themselves, the 1998 winners, failed to get past the first round in 2002. Then we saw Spain failing to get past the first round, having won in 2010. Then Germany failing to get past the first round, having won in 2014. So there was a bit of a nervy moment there for the Frenchmen, knowing that we have seen, and I left out the Italians as well, who had won in 2006 and failed to get out of the group stage 4 years later in 2010. But the French responded admirably, didn't they?
Yes, they did, and that's with a number of injuries as well to key players in Kante, Pogba, and obviously the massive news that Benzema was going to be injured and miss the tournament. But as you said, they've gone behind early, and they've responded really well through Adrien Rabiot and then Olivier Giroud. Kylian Mbappe managed to get himself on the score sheet, and whilst doing that, he added himself into the top 10 all-time goal scorers for France. So that's an amazing achievement at such a young age. And then Olivier Giroud sealed the win to make it a comfortable 4-1 win. Yeah,
a lot was made of Giroud's participation or his contribution, should I say, to the France World Cup success 4 years ago, which was nil as a goal scorer. But he got 2 today, the 36-year-old, and I'm pretty certain he would have been happy with that.
Yeah, most definitely. A lot's been made of his goal scoring contribution, but I think his game is a lot more to that. He adds a certain presence to the forward lines, and he almost changes the way that the team plays, whoever he's playing for, whether that be internationally or club football wise. His presence there, he's a great link-up striker, and he will always score important goals.
Yeah, let's talk a bit now about star boy Kylian Mbappe. A lot around him, in the headlines going into this World Cup. And of course, he was a threat throughout the entire match today, and then he got that goal.
Yeah, Kylian Mbappe, what more do you need to really say about him? The way he's burst onto the scene over the last couple of years, he's been absolutely fantastic. His performances are only getting better and better as well. And obviously he had a little bit of controversy when the season started with his club side PSG. But I think for France, he looks really, really at home. He looks like he enjoys himself, and he's given that freedom that he was once complaining about with PSG. And the pace he has is going to scare defenders, and he exploited that today. And he always looks electrifying, and he's so exciting to watch.
Yeah, definitely good to look at. Let's talk now about Denmark and Tunisia. 0-0 in that match. Of course, Tunisia will walk away feeling happy with the draw. Denmark went into this match as favourites.
Yeah, Denmark went into the game as favourites, as to be expected. But Tunisia put up a really resilient display. Denmark, they huffed and puffed, but it was pretty unfortunate that they didn't manage to get a win. But again, I think overall Denmark will accept that it was probably a fair result getting the draw, and Tunisia will, as you said, will be quite happy as well.
Okay, so Denmark and Tunisia 1 point each there, and France top of the table, courtesy of their big win over the Aussies. Nick, thanks for talking to us. Of course, we will be in touch over the course of the World Cup, as there are 4 more matches tomorrow, which we will look at in just a moment. But Nick Blackman, thanks for talking to us there. And
no problem.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Yeah, Nick Blackman there. The World Cup continue, of course, on Wednesday. 4 more fixtures there. Morocco against Croatia, who were beaten finalists 4 years ago in Russia. Germany, they're up against Japan. And the news today that Sané has a knee injury and will be out of the Germany lineup for this Japan game. Spain will be up against Costa Rica, and Belgium take on Canada. So we get an early opportunity to see the Manchester City star Kevin De Bruyne and Belgium taking on CONCACAF's Canada. Back with more on the SportsMax Zone after this.